Hello, I'm Chris Ferguson, Chief Executive of Novara Consulting, and I'm here today to present the benefits of implementing best management practice. Many of you will be undergoing business change, lots of organisations chasing future benefits, and indeed delivering business as usual, delivering services, whatever you may be involved with. But best management practice exists in many different forms with many different methods. And I'm here today to talk about the benefits of implementing those methods in organisations. You'll see from this particular slide that in managing business strategy, thinking about the future of the organisation, and also managing business as usual, we need to consider what future benefits we're going to be delivering, whether we're driven by a cost-saving agenda, a revenue-generating agenda, or whatever it may be. Best management practice comprises a number of separate pieces of guidance. The first of which is the management of the whole portfolio of change, balancing that off against business as usual and making sure that business as usual has enough resources to sustain it whilst at the same time pursuing the chosen priorities and objectives of the organisation. Beneath that, we'll have programmes of transformative change, and those programmes basically will need to be strategically oriented around the portfolio that's been agreed, and also will deliver a number of constituent projects to deliver benefits of strategic advantage. Beneath that, there is project management guidance, Prince 2, and that guidance is essentially driven towards delivering project outputs so that the benefits may subsequently be realised. Underpinning that with IT services is ITIL, and with that, the whole organisation needs to provide an IT service environment that continually sustains and supports the delivery of IT across the organisation. Sitting alongside that, across all of those different levels, will be management of risk, because from an organisation's governance point of view, down to the delivery of IT services and projects, we need to consider and mitigate the risks and also take advantage of opportunities. Supporting the projects, the programmes and the portfolios is guidance on P3O, those project, programme, portfolio offices, and then underpinning the delivery of all of these to generate these greater benefits is management of value. So these are the different sets of guidance, and you can see how they all interrelate with one another. I'll now talk about benefits that would arise from the deployment of each one of them. And first start with portfolio management. This is where an organisation seeks to look at the entire portfolio of business change and balance that with business as usual. Guidance exists for the boardrooms of the organisation, through to people in strategic planning and business planning environments and those sorts of areas of the organisation. In implementing this guidance, it brings a structured approach to how an organisation decides to do the very best projects and programmes for its future. And it's whatever drives the organisation strategically that will shape what those are. Amongst the many benefits that we get from portfolio management, our organisations that have adopted this guidance will have, for example, reduced the number of projects and programmes, focusing those with the highest return on investment, or focusing upon those that give them the minimum cost for achieving compliance. So getting that real focus and that emphasis is what's important. Also, in terms of the benefits, reducing risk, corporate risk, risk at different levels of the portfolio, reducing exposure to things going wrong for the organisation, but essentially faster and more consistent decision making. Because if the board are tuned into the portfolio they're trying to deliver, they will start making faster and quicker decisions. In one organisation that adopted portfolio management across the organisation, 150 projects were reduced down to 90. And those projects had a far better content and a far better value, as a consequence of which they saved somewhere around £5 million in project management savings. Other organisations have removed projects and programmes because suddenly information became visible to the board that rendered those projects and programmes unnecessary. And so saving money on unfeasible or unneeded projects is another advantage of implementing this portfolio management guidance. Lots of organisations are constrained with scarce resources, but focusing them on the highest value activity is another benefit of implementing portfolio management. So hopefully that reveals some of the value that can come around from portfolio management. Then we turn our attention to programme management. And programme management is how we organise strategic change to deliver benefits to the organisation of strategic advantage. And thereby we've got to make sure that we understand the strategic drivers, which portfolio management gives us, and then make sure that the roadmap, if you like, of change is mapped out, much like is seen on this slide in front of us. The great thing about MSP for managing successful programs is the method itself is very, very benefit driven and benefit focused. Whereas traditionally some organisations have focused on delivering change without realising the benefit, MSP makes sure that those benefits are focused upon. With MSP, there are a whole series of different benefits from its adoption. Improving the coordination of change across the organisation to make sure that we get the benefits. And actually then nailing down and focusing upon individuals in terms of achieving and delivering the benefits of our programmes. With organisations that have taken MSP on board, they've benefited by making sure that the programmes themselves focus upon the strategic priorities and everything else is left out, so we don't waste our time on unnecessary projects or programmes. We also make sure that the impact of change on business as usual is mitigated and we don't take unnecessary risks for business as usual. What we need to make sure about is, of course, that programmes themselves deliver strategic benefit. An organisation that adopted MSP and programme management guidance basically made sure that 35 projects got condensed into one strategic programme and a whole load of additional content was added into the mix whilst removing a whole bunch of redundant projects and programmes. The budget for the programme increased by twofold, the benefits for the programme increased by sevenfold, thereby organising programmes properly, using MSP as a source of guidance can itself yield some benefits. In terms of adopting the change as well, if you're in any organisation, building a stronger reputation for delivering successful change improves confidence in the boardroom. That itself can generate things like further investment, or whether you're bidding for funding, or whether you're building for future shareholder funds. It could mean many benefits in terms of delivering programmes. Turning to this slide, it shows a picture of Prince2, and as a structured method for managing projects, it itself yields many benefits. If all projects used a consistent language, we would be far better at the way in which we delivered our projects, said one global chief executive to me fairly recently. And the benefits of implementing Prince2, again, are manifold. Reducing the risk of project failure, focusing the project on its business benefits themselves, making sure we've got a stronger ability to learn lessons and to reuse project management information, to speed up the results of our projects and enable a faster turnaround of results. In terms of the reuse of project management collateral alone, there are many examples where organisations have done this. And they've actually achieved a 10 to 20% saving of project management effort, which if you have several hundred projects running, can be a considerable sum of money indeed. So again, many benefits of implementing Prince2. If we turn to ITIL, in terms of IT service management, again, there are many benefits, improving the asset value of the IT estate, making sure that the IT systems that are in place genuinely support service delivery of the organisation, but are also easy to maintain, sustain and change when impacted upon by projects or by programmes of change. So making IT services accountable to the business, confidence in IT service delivery, and overall improving the value of the IT asset return on investment. That is something that comes out of the use, a continued use of ITIL across the organisation. In terms of management of risk, that cuts across many different levels, from corporate governance down to day-to-day operational risk management. And organisations will have all sorts of guidance in place. The management of risk guidance focuses very much upon improving the way in which services are delivered, managing the corporate risks, reducing the corporate exposure to compliance issues, regulatory issues, legislative issues, things of that nature. And then through projects and programmes, making sure that risks are mitigated that may occur, but also that opportunities are grasped. And one of the hidden values in management of risk is the business of managing our opportunities. The business indeed of getting projects and programmes to take advantage of changes in the business environment that themselves will deliver greater return on investment and greater results. Reduced waste, reduced fraud, reduced impact of non-compliance costs, these are all again cited as benefits of implementing MOR. P30, as a guidance goes, sets up a framework by which good quality information is provided to projects, to programmes and to portfolios. And so that information needs to be crystal clear, concise, easy to get, and following the guidance It will make sure that it's presented in a structured, logical, easy to use fashion that suits the different management levels of the organisation. If you can improve decision making, you can speed up the delivery of the benefits. I was talking recently to a director of a public sector organisation, and their view was very much so that if they speeded up their decision making on their £100 million project, they could actually gain about 3 months' worth of additional benefits from it. That in itself was worth several £1,000,000 to the organisation. So the timeliness of information, the quality of that information, and that's what's delivered by the P3O guidance. And there are different options and models that one can use. It's all contained in the guidance itself, but the idea of then being able to use our resources in an optimal way across the organisation, again makes sure we focus on getting the best value out of all of our resources, whether they be people, assets, IT, or whatever it may be. Turning now to management of value in itself, this is a new set of guidance that's going to deliver a tactical help, a practical help, and pragmatic help to those people who are trying to find the best way to drive out the value they're going to get from change. In these times, many people are turning to short, quick win type projects and tactical programs in order to drive out bottom line benefits quickly, and far more quickly than historically has been the case. So this guidance contains tools and techniques to help us to achieve that. And the focus there is very much on the bottom line improvement, on the cash, on the performance measures that need to be improved, and therefore generating through a range of techniques far greater value from the projects and programs we undertake as organisations. In terms of the business benefits from implementing management of value, it will be a far greater focus on value, not just cost cutting, but the value of what is produced as a consequence of change, and making sure we've got an open and transparent analysis that avoids lengthy delays, overcomplicated governance and those sorts of things. So for Practice.mp4 is the source where you'll find far more information on this subject. Thank you very much.